Reddit? I've been reading r/nosleep for years. Here are the best of the best. According to me, a package marked Return to Sender. My neighbor is one of those annoying wannabe YouTube personalities. Over the years, I've seen him cough out cinnamon, lay flat on the hood of his car as it slowly creeps down the driveway, and douse himself in lukewarm water, all the while screaming epic win, epic fail, or fuck. Epic maintenance of the status quo, for all I know. It can get tiring to watch him go about his shenanigans in the pursuit of viral fame. So, when he knocked on my door the other day, told me he was going away for a few weeks, and asked that I get his mail, honestly, it was a relief. I can't explain the peace of mind I had, knowing I didn't have to brace myself for any of his stupidity for a while. I was always afraid his stunts would wind up bleeding over into my life. Things were pretty normal for the first couple of days. He received a few bills, a bit of spam, and what I could only assume was a birthday card. Then, one evening, I got home to find a cardboard box waiting on his front porch. In big red letters was written, Return to Sender. I'm no small fry, but I admit I had trouble lifting the box on my own. It was really freaking heavy. Lugging it across the road to my house was even harder, and I quickly realized there was no way I was going to drag it up the stairs and through my front door. I decided I'd leave his package in my garage. It wasn't like I kept my car in there. The garage door was a piece of shit that refused to open without a good thug and a whack. It was less trouble just leaving the car in the driveway than it was to fight with the garage door every morning and night. In hindsight, I should have set the package down while I struggled to open the tricky door. But you know how it is when you've got a good grip on something. No point in setting it down if you don't have to. It was as I kicked the door for a third time that I lost my grip on the package, and it fell to the ground. I heard a light crack inside. Shit, I cursed. I hoped I hadn't broken anything important, but figured I just wouldn't tell my neighbor about it and let him assume the break happened en route. Hands-free, I finally managed to get the garage door unstuck, and boy did it screech in protest as it rolled up and over me. I dragged the box the rest of the way, setting it in the corner for whenever my neighbor would come back to claim it. And then, I forgot all about it. Until a few days passed, that is. I'm not sure exactly how long it took for the smell to waft in from the crack under the garage-to-house door, but it came in slow progression. It was a sickly sweet odor similar to a skunk, and for the first few days after I smelled it, I genuinely assumed that's exactly what it was. Roadkill that had left its mark on my house. It was only when I realized the scent was growing more intense instead of fading that I went looking for a source. That's when I opened the garage door, and that's when the odor knocked me back, holding my nose. The culprit wasn't hard to identify. The only change in my garage was the box in the corner. I remember thinking it must have been one of those meat of the month subscription boxes. The meat must have gone rancid from being left out of the fridge for so long. How much meat could have been in there for the box to have been so large and heavy? An entire freaking cow. I covered my nose as I approached the box, a pair of scissors in my hands. I probably wouldn't have needed them to open it, as it had become soggy enough at the bottom to poke through with a finger. But I wasn't about to poke my finger into spoiled meat juices. That soggy bottom was the reason I had to open the box in the first place. If I tried to drag it out whole, everything would spill onto the floor. I was going to have to dump the pieces of meat one garbage bag at a time and take them down to the dumpster, a process I wasn't looking forward to. My scissors tore through the tape along the top of the cardboard box. I thought the smell couldn't get any worse, but as I flipped the flaps open, I discovered a whole new gamut of stink. It was like opening a burning oven, but instead of a heat wave, I was met with waves of piss, sweat, shit, and putrefaction. It was so bad that I staggered back and had to force down the puke begging to guzzle out of me. I don't think I could have handled that scent mingling with the horrors coming out of the box. I'm not ashamed to admit I ran out the door for a breath of fresh air, but in the short time I'd spent in the garage, the smell had become so ingrained in the fabric of my clothes that it clung to me like a shadow. Nothing I tried could keep the smell out of my nostrils. Not air fresheners, not a face mask, not 3 showers and a change of clothes. Every second that box lay open in my garage was another second the smell was allowed a foothold into my home. I had to bite the bullet. I returned to the garage, the flaps of the box still open, as though inviting me to look. I was prepared, a clothespin pinning my nostrils shut, a garbage bag in one hand, the strongest cleaner I could find in the other, and long rubber gloves to keep my skin from having to touch what was inside. But, as it turns out, I needed none of those things. I wouldn't have to touch or clean the contents of that box. I would only have to suffer the nightmares every night. You see, there was meat in that box, but it didn't come from a cow or a pig. No, it was worse than that. It was my neighbor, dead, still in one piece, but dead. I called the cops, and naturally, they took me in for interrogation. It's kind of hard not to suspect the man with a corpse in his garage, after all. Thankfully, they soon realized I wasn't involved. My DNA might have been all over that box. The smell might have left a mark throughout my house. But there was one piece of irrefutable evidence in my neighbor's own hands that proved my innocence. A vlogging camera. They showed me the footage only once. I'm not sure if they were allowed to, or if they felt so bad for me, they figured it couldn't hurt. Either way, I saw it. My neighbor was sitting in the box outside of a shipping facility, laughing as he told the world how he was going to mail himself across state lines. He'd brought pee bottles, food, a pillow, and a few flashlights. His friend, a guy I'd seen at his place several times to help with his stunts, closed the lid and presumably dropped him off for shipment. Throughout the next couple of hours, or days, I'm honestly not sure, my neighbor recorded a few short clips about his progress. I think I'm in a truck now. I can feel it moving. Must be in a warehouse. Pretty warm here. Still got plenty of food. That kind of stuff. And then, on the last entry, the box toppled over. He broke his neck, and that was it. The camera recorded until either the memory card got too full or the battery died. There's one thing I didn't tell the police after they showed me the video. One thing I heard in the footage that will haunt me to the day I die. Just after the tumble that broke his neck, I heard the familiar screeching sound of my garage door. I was always afraid his stunts would wind up bleeding over into my life. Well, literally. Heavy box. Okay, there's gonna be a corpse inside. Few days later, the box starts to stink. Yep, there's definitely a corpse inside. Box turns out to contain neighbor's corpse. Okay, I didn't see that coming. Maybe he was murdered by haters? Turns out OP was the murderer by accident. Holy shit. TIFU by murdering my neighbor. TIL, never trust the garage door. This was a really good read. Glad they let you go. Glad I unsubbed his channel. His stunts were getting stupid anyway. His last video, which was just pitch black silence for hours, was really boring. What was his channel? All the downvotes? This comment is actually pretty funny. Even if you were the one who dropped the box, it's not your fault in the slightest. He was the one stupid enough to mail himself to his own address. He should have at least warned you that he was mailing himself. Seriously, you are not at fault for anything. This is his own idiocy. He mailed himself to his friend, but someone scrawled, "Return to sender" on the lid, so it got sent to his house. Well, either way, still his own fault. I just saw those shipping box videos trending on YouTube too. They didn't seem like too smart of an idea, but a lot of them seemed fake. Great story. Good luck getting that smell out of your garage. You know you've read too many horror stories before when you instantly think body as soon as it was said that the box was heavy. I've had packages show up saying fragile and looking like they went through a tornado, a 25-car pileup, and offloaded with a baseball bat. With that said, He had to know it could end up that way. Oh well, he probably should have told you. Oh, by the way, when a really heavy one shows up, open it, don't stash it. Or seriously, send yourself to the house of the guy willing to ship you in a box to begin with. Or at least tell whoever's getting your mail to open anything not an envelope immediately. I work in a shipping facility. If you hadn't dropped him and snapped his neck, someone else would have for sure. So, don't beat yourself up. It's his fault, not yours. Nobody else did though, and it was the last destination, LOL. Jesus, that last sentence literally gave me chills. You shouldn't feel guilty about what happened. Your neighbor should have clearly labeled the package, handle with care or fragile or something, to indicate that there was a living idiot in the box. I'm genuinely surprised he'd lived through the shipping process. I can barely get a letter delivered without it being partially opened, let alone a box. That's some tough luck there. It was an accident. Surely they couldn't convict you. Honestly, as soon as I read the title, I started singing Elvis. Epic fail. I think it not your fault at all, OP. Who the hell know your neighbor is crazy enough to mimic Mr. Bean? It's just a prank, bro. Des. He deserves a Darwin Award for that level of stupidity. Neighbor should have said something before OP had to lug him over to his house anyway, WTF. You definitely shouldn't blame yourself for his stupidity. If he had ended up on a cargo plane, he would have froze to death anyway. Oh shit. Sorry. Nice ending though. The cracking noise? Damn it. Holy hell, the last part got me good. I mean, even if they did know you dropped the box causing him to die, it's not your fault. You didn't know he was in there. It's still his fault. Damn. I kind of figured early on that there would be a body in the box, but I didn't think it would be your neighbor, and I definitely didn't see the very end coming. That last bit sent chills through me. I hoped I hadn't broken anything important, but figured I just wouldn't tell my neighbor about it and let him assume the break happened en route. LOL. Sounds like someone forgot to use packing peanuts. I don't see how he planned to get out of that one anyway. Not your fault, OP. He mailed himself to his friend's house. The return was unplanned. Once the box settles down, he just cuts it open with a pocket knife. You know it's going to be the I mailed myself challenge when OP mentions YouTube. And a box? Great read and crazy ending. So who was he mailing himself to? Who did he think would open him? He meant to send himself to his friend's house, but for some reason, the box was marked Return to Sender, AKA his house. The neighbor was instructed to collect his mail, and this happened. Very well written. Way to get off the hook. Wow. Really well written. The ending really caught me off guard. His mate should have been tracking the package. Good riddance. I'm really glad this didn't turn into a supernatural or fantasy ending. You know, instead of scratching my head to why aliens would try to kill him, your ending makes perfect sense. Very sad, but makes sense. Twist was so strong that HS broke his neck. You are the Squidward of your neighborhood. Add the Curb Your Enthusiasm song to the end of this, and it goes from creepy to funny. The most unexpected plot twist I think I've ever fucking read. I broke my own birthday present once, a family heirloom porcelain teapot over a century old. Because my mother handed me this heavy grocery tote bag, unbeknownst to me, filled with surprise presents, and I sort of petulantly lugged the bag along, and then let it drop to the floor with a thud. I heard a faint crack, and I thought, I hope I didn't break eggs or something. Mom'll be pissed. She sobbed when I opened the present and the handle had snapped off. She assumed she broke it. I told her it wasn't her fault. It must have got crushed in the car. Yeah, I'm a horrible person, and I've never forgiven myself for breaking that beautiful hand-painted antique. I did eventually confess that I broke it years later. All that said, I guess I'm just trying to say I kind of understand where you're coming from, OP. but it was really your idiot neighbor's fault. I think it's actually a pretty serious crime to try to mail yourself for the very reason illustrated here. It puts all the people handling the package at risk for negligence, up to and including negligent homicide. Such a good story. I think he had it coming for him though, packing himself in a box and mailing it to himself/you. A pretty dick move if you ask me. Why the hell didn't he send himself to the same guy willing to ship him in the first place? Or track the package and bring a phone with him? Or actually tell you, hey, I've got an important package coming in the next few days. Would you please open it right when it arrives? Your neighbor was an idiot. And I'm sorry his stunts finally ruined your life. I award your neighbor the Darwin Award. This is the best story to wake up the viral obsessed YouTubers out there. Please don't do it for the tube. I can handle so much horror, but this actually made me throw my phone across the room as soon as I realized what happened. Amazing story. He would have had to reach his destination for return to sender to have been written on the box. Well, you didn't kill him, you're completely innocent, and it's his fault for sending his mail to your house. And what kind of dumbass thinks it's a good idea to hide in a box for a few days, unaware of what's going to happen? If I were him, I would have faked the video. What's he ever done to you? Why? Were there no air holes for you to look inside? Hell, and didn't say a thing when the box was being moved? Also, mate, you might want to give the last paragraph a check in case the police sees this and put you back in the suspect pool and charge you for manslaughter or something. Ending really made me shiver. Seriously, that was scary. I don't know why, but that made my spine go cold. I feel Roald Dahl may have especially liked this one. A modern-day tale of the unexpected. Oh shit. Got yourself some counseling, OP. I honestly think it wasn't your fault. It was an accident. It just happened to be you become the one deliver that. I mean, during his trip, there are a million chances his box would topple. Bad road, car accident, etc. Or you also went out of town and leave him there a couple days without food or water. What was that last part supposed to mean? Their garage door opening? Op dropped him, and that's how he cracked his neck. Then Op opened his garage and put him there to start decomposing. It's OP's noisy garage door opening. It confirms that OP is the one who, accidentally, killed him. That was honestly a fantastic read. Great job. This was a very good read, thank you. Well, congrats, you got rid of your annoying neighbor. D. Man, that was really good. 0.0965. What is this? How do those cops have a job if they couldn't match the recording dates and the date the package was delivered? Oh my God. Be careful with other people packages, man. Wouldn't the camera also pick up the shit that you cursed aloud? I guess he should have been sent to the dead letter office instead. Bah, dumb tish. Henry Box Brown. He is not. Don't worry. It's not your fault. His own stupidity killed him, not you. So the smell was the guy's bowels flowing free? More like decomposition. Holy shit. Whoops, you did that. Why didn't the guy in the box say anything when Op first collected it? Ah, shit. Not my box, not my problem. That's what I say. Love the plot twist. Welp, no pesky neighbor. Thanks. This was delicious. Expected the corpse thing, but I thought it was going to be a prank thing. Never expected the neck breaking. And the ending too. Wee you. Considering that OP hadn't mentioned the size of the box, I was imagining something about the size of a box of reamed papers. When the smell started, I thought, could it be something supernatural? Talk about being caught by surprise when he mentioned it was the neighbor's body. Prank gone wrong. That was absolutely fantastic. This would be an amazing short film. TIFU by killing my neighbor accidentally. Wait, why didn't the guy scream or make noise when you were lugging him around, OP? I don't think he knew he got delivered. Wow. Awesome. This was very, very well written. Just after the tumble that broke his neck, I heard the familiar screeching sound of my garage door. Num, yum, num, 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 num. I kinda saw the twist coming. I gotta say that twist was really good, upvoted. That ending fucked me over so much. I love this great work. OP. This reminds me of the song The Gift by the Velvet Underground. My jaw dropped. Holy shit, son. Don't feel bad, this isn't your fault at all. I love how you read the cracking part at the beginning, and you think, that's gonna be important later, so remember it. But the story is so catching that you totally forget about it until the last sentence. Interesting. He should have written fragile slash or handle with care on the box, though. At least this side up. What if they had mailed the box through an airplane or something? Would have been the opposite result described here. And that is why I am thankful I don't have a garage. So he could have just spilled out on your floor? Now, if he had only told you, dude, if you get a package marked return to sender, please be careful with it. And under any circumstances, do not drop it. Dude might have lived. Man, I hope the smell got away. A dead letter marked return to sender? Don't blame yourself. The guy was an idiot. He couldn't even label the package right. Bit predictable, but the wording was so great, I had to keep reading.